What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We're going to be speaking on the Geminis for this specific video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Here we go. Geminis are a chatty social butterflies of the zodiac, represented by the twins and ruled by the planet Mercury. This sign is all about fun, communication, and conversation. They are amazing friends and tell the most captivating and hilarious stories. Geminis are playful, affectionate, and curious, but they can also be thoughtful and serious, thanks to their dual nature. It's going to be Geminis. Let's begin. This specific deck that I'm going to be reading from is coming from the Ancestral Guidance cards. You guys are welcome to go check this deck out. Maybe you guys see it in stores, pick you up some. All right, and let's begin. Right. Hopefully you guys are having a good day. If not, try to think of something positive. Try to kind of almost mold your day to be good. Think of the positive things. Be optimistic in life, and that's all. That's all I ask of you guys. Right. But anyway, let's go ahead and start. Right. What do we have, Spirit, for the Geminis? Alright, I got two cards for you guys, right? First one being two consoles of state, a symbol of democracy, sharing ideas and taking counsel, right? So this could be sharing information as well as taking constructive criticism as well. So like, for an example, let's say you guys are out, you have a true friend or true companion or a partner or anything like that that's giving you constructive advice, such as, hey, make sure you pay attention, or hey, make sure you watch out for that car when you're crossing the street. Something simple. I know it's simple, but I'm just using an example, right? And you go ahead and, make sure that you guys are not egotistic about certain situations like that, because somebody doesn't always have to share information, whether it's negatively or positively, whatever their intent was behind it. They don't necessarily have to give you any information, right? They can go about their day just letting you, just be you. Any information that's given, try to just take it into consideration. Use discernment, right? See what's positive, what's not. However, make sure that you guys are not going egotistic on that specific someone. And if you have, try to better it the next time around, right? Try to intake any information as well as sharing ideas, right? It's like you guys ever know about console, and if you don't, it's basically where you have two people and they will basically just talk amongst each other about certain mostly problematic situations, but this can be a positive this can be positive influence to help your life. When you're talking about ideas and certain topics, it can help you reflect on those situations and how you can improve them. That's mainly what we try to do in life. We try to improve on our situations. So if you guys are sharing ideas and things like that with your peers, with your relationship, your family, things like that, it's very healthy. It allows you to see two perspectives as well, because you can share your ideas, they can share their ideas. But all I can say is make sure that you guys try your best to drive away from being egotistic and not wanting to hurt people out and not wanting to being stubborn. Try to hurt situations out if you have the time, you have the capabilities to do so, right? But yeah, you have two consoles of state. Next one we have for you guys is puffed up arrogance, right? Humility. All life must be valued. And this is crazy. I didn't even read this just now. But look, puffed up arrogance. So like, one of the biggest downfalls of people's careers, successes, and things like that is the ego. Now, granted, we are human. We do feel some type of way, and you are gonna stand on how you feel. However, at some point, you gotta kind of get to that level of mentality to realize that maybe certain things ain't worth me being aggressive towards situations, or me even having the last say in situations. You know what I mean? Maybe I can just humble myself a little bit. You know what I mean? And this doesn't mean backing down from everything or whatever the case is, but everything don't need a response. Everything don't need a reaction. So one thing about life, if you just try, go through life in a way of learning instead of gaining. 1 second, give me a second. And I know that sounds similar, a little plain. I know that sounds similar, learning and gaining, but I feel like if we go through life in a way to where we can just, live in the moment type of thing. Like, you're living in the moment, you're acknowledging things, you're taking things in, versus trying to see how you can get over on things and get over in life and whatever the case is. Do what you need to do. Of course, be practical how you're gonna get where you're trying to go, but limiting that arrogance, limiting that way of thinking where you feel like you know a lot of things. Like I said, from the previous one. If people sharing your ideas and stuff, just hear them out. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the ideas could be. Hear them out, and if you state your opinion, okay. And then at that point, if you feel like the opinion, like the conversation is going towards a negative route, then you can cut it off there, you know. But ensure not to have puffed up arrogance or feel like, you know, try just try, right? Just try. I know it doesn't really make sense because you probably see in the world it looks like people's winning, but eventually, you know, that steam goes out, right? Eventually that steam goes out. So just keep that in mind. Next one. What do we have for Geminis? All right, next one we have for you guys is extension of the heart. Symbolize understanding, agreement, trust, and partnership, right? Try to lead with your heart. Try to lead with just love and compassion, right? Even if there's negativity in the air and tension, that, like, here's the thing I try to get people to understand. At some point, if people don't seem to mess with you a certain way or whatever, you peep energy, you ain't gotta necessarily provide the same energy towards that situation, because you already know what that person's energy is about. You know what I'm saying? Providing that same energy or reflecting their negativity ain't gonna do nothing good. Ain't not gonna bring nothing positive. It's just gonna be a bicker, an argument, or all of that stuff, which is unnecessary because you could spend that time evolving. So try to just go with compassion. I'm not saying turn your back on a fight. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, if you could just avoid it completely, avoid it. If you can't, try your best to try to deal with it as best as possible. Try not to go through life with hatred and especially not jealousy. I would assume you guys ain't going through life like that, but try not to go through with hatred. Like, somebody did you wrong, all right, move on. All right, try to find ways to work around that. All right, cool. I just keep away from that individual, and you know what I'm saying? I'm still going to provide my compassion for what I need to do, but yeah, try to do that. You know what I'm saying? Extension of the heart. Try to move in love, compassion, and things like that. Trust, partnership, all of these different things, right? You're understanding people, right? You're coming to an agreement. You're trusting. You have trust in people, or not in people in general, but for the ones that you hold dear to your heart and things like that, right? What else we have for? Oh, too much. It's too many cards. What else we have for the Geminis? Geminis. We have wisdom knot, right? We have symbolized wisdom, intelligence, and ingenuity. A wise person has the capacity to choose the best means to attain a goal. One good way to be wise: think. Think before you act. Think before you speak. A lot of times, like I said, we are human. We're gonna blur out things we don't necessarily mean to say at the moment, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of just take the next step. All right, cool. Apologize or whatever the case is. You know what I'm saying? That's one step, to think. Next step: try to be informative about the situation or the topic. Try to educate yourself on it. Whatever field you guys are in, try to do a lot of reading. Because you gotta understand why I advocate about reading. When you're reading or when you're speaking, let's say for an example, reason why we communicate with one another, reason why we want to learn different language so we can communicate. When we communicate, we can get tasks done, right? If I need you to pass me something, I'm gonna speak your language, or you're gonna speak my language. However, we're gonna work it out so we can communicate, so we can get this job done that we have put together, right? So it's a union thing, right? Speaking is really globalized so that we can talk and communicate with one another, so we can work together, and come in union, right? So with that being said, reason why I advocate reading in your language, whatever language that you prefer the most. Reading gives you more words to be able to mess with, right? It gives you more words to be able to use in certain situations. If you're solely basing off of what you hear and things like that, then the outside world is controlling your vocabulary in a sense, right? But if you can dive deep into books and stuff like that and improve your literature, improve your speaking, improve your vocabulary, you can find different words. And look, a lot of big words ain't gonna be on TV and all of that. So a lot of words that are said, a lot of times is going off a reaction, right? So like I can, there's a lot of different words. What I'm trying to say. So it's like I would just say the easiest way to be wise is, or the easiest way to, that's not the only way, of course, but for me, the easiest way to know how to de-escalate a situation is through words, right? Because people, I don't know, people react different depending on what words you say, right? We all know words are powerful. So it's like, that's one of the easiest ways to me to improve your vocabulary. You improve your vocabulary, you improve the way you speak, you improve the way you speak, you can de-escalate or uprise people if you need people to do things quickly, or you need people to get motivated and things like that. You can use certain words to make them get pumped or make them, get energetic. You can encourage people and do different words and things like that. But also you're getting things done, So that's one of the best ways for me personally. But for you guys, hey, just like I said, just think before you act. Choose the best means not necessary. It's, like I said, it's just, to me, it's just easier. When you're reading, you're thinking of things, because you gotta kind of image what's being said or what's being written, and what you're reading, whether it's a story time or whatever the case is, and then from there you're able to use your brain a lot more. A lot of times people get into worse situations because they go off of emotions. I feel a certain way, so I'm going to do something to this person, when in reality that's not the case. Especially if I know this person wants me to do something to them so that I can get in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So we got to think of it like that. We got to actually start to use our brains a lot. That's why I said, like, I'm not saying that television don't improve information or provide information, but reading and literature and even ebooks or whatever the case is that you guys do something that's going to make you think, thereby creating an outlet for you to use your brain. And then it's like, when you're in certain situations, you can actually stop, pause, live in the moment, and think before you even act. To say, look, if I do this, if I say this, am I willing to accept the consequence that comes with it? Okay, if I'm not, then I'm not even gonna attempt to even push it further than it needs to go. If it goes that way and I can't prevent it, then it is what it is. I mean, it's life. Apparently, that's how life wanted it. But if I don't need to push it, I ain't gonna push it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, so that's what we want, right? Okay, we got 4 more. I'm gonna do a deck of 8. Okay, that's good. We got for the Geminis. Right, we have, I've kept what I've heard. Right, signifies the act of hearing, understanding, and taking into consideration what someone has said. Sorry. See that? Sorry. So yeah, these comes to situations where, like, everything somebody says can be valued and informative in different forms or ways. It all depends on how you intake it, right? So, but I would say take every person's advice with a grain of salt. Like, really sit there and really dwell on it, really think about it. And sometimes I encourage you guys to do activities, whether it's washing dishes or whatever the case is, without any music, without anything, kind of like a meditation state, without anything else. So you can, what I'm saying is, because I know a lot of people ain't got time to be sitting up there for an hour or 2 hours getting into a deep meditation state. But what I can say is, if you're doing an activity with nothing but your thoughts, right? You're doing an activity, but you're not, how can I put this? You're not really thinking about something, but you're just like washing dishes. Something simple that you don't really have to think about. You're kind of like washing dishes or whatever, and you're not really thinking about anything particular, but you're letting your mind wander, if this makes sense. For me, what I found that if I let my mind wander when I'm like doing the dishes or whatever, I come across memories of, like, somebody said something, and then when I get, like, say somebody told me, I don't know, I'm gonna give you an example. I'm not really thinking about it right now, but let's say somebody told me about a bracelet or something, right? And I'm like, all right, bet. And then I go ahead and I go get the bracelet. Well, I think about getting the bracelet after, when I have that memory in my head, So it's like, giving yourself that time to just clear your brain a little bit, or just go into a state of different things. And you can, like I said, you can dwell. This is like dwelling, or like thinking heavily on a small thing that somebody once said in your lifetime, yesterday, years back, or whatever the case is, that potentially had some type of weight of value. But like I said, a lot of times information is valuable depending on how you take it and how you use it. So I would just give you guys that simple advice coming from me. This is my personal experience. I feel like when you do something that doesn't really cause you to think, I'm getting one more. I have a workout. I work out, but I have a routine. So I know exactly what I'm doing, and I don't work out with music enough. And I'm not saying that it's bad or good, but I clear my brain, and it allows me to think about certain topics and then kind of think of like elaborate on those things. So where it's like something happened that didn't make sense at that moment, or somebody said something that didn't make sense, and then after a while, you know, you start piecing your life together. It's like a puzzle piece. Everything I feel like is connected. So you just start to notice there's certain things, and then to be honest, I start getting new ideas, like a new setup for my page, a new routine, improved routine, I should say, something more practical, something more sustainable. You know what I'm saying? Something more that I could do longevity type of thing. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, you cap what someone has said. Always take in consideration, because it might not make sense right there and then, but it potentially will make sense later down the line. What we got? Okay, the next one we have for you guys is the earth has weight. Excuse me. This signifies the symbol of providence and divinity of Mother Earth. It represents the importance of the earth in sustaining life. Excuse me. Right? The earth has weight. The importance of sustaining life. I talk about this a lot. It's one thing to gain something, another thing to maintain. And this is why they talk about sustaining. That means being able to upkeep it, right? So as you know, the earth, for an example, we humans have a large, of course we pollute the earth, right? I mean, we do a lot of different things. Everything pretty much here was made somewhat by some type of factory or labor, which essentially takes things like even if it's just a person that's building something, he's gonna need water. He's gonna need certain things that he might need a bottle of water, which plastic comes from a factory. So no matter how you look at it, we all use factory made stuff which pollutes the earth and things like that. But they also advocate for us to go out there and clean beaches and things like that, or at least pick up trash, or at least at the bare minimum do not litter, right? Everybody knows that, or most people do. So with that being said, it's like reason why we try our best, our individual best, to try to sustain the earth that we're on, because we want more generations, right? We expect to have we expect to, not probably us specifically to be on this earth for a long time, but at least the human race. We want to sustain it for them. So if you want to relate this to your life, I want you guys to start looking at things that you do on a day-to-day basis and ask yourself if what you do is it longevity or if it's short-term. Because if you want to sustain your living, sustain your expenses, sustain your lifestyle, you need to be doing things that earn you whatever it is that you use to sustain a lifestyle that you could potentially do for a long time. For an example, you'll have people that you have seasons for everything, right? And some things are short term and long term. And I'm not gonna speak on certain people's decisions and things like that. I was, but you know, it's not my business. But I would say, like, just think about that in your everyday life. Think about, are you sustaining your life, or are you just kind of living in the moment? Look at what you're doing in your day to day, and look, some things that are longevity takes years. Like some things that you probably want to obtain, it's going to take some time. But in the meantime, you can enjoy the moment, enjoy the process. You want to sustain life. You want to sustain your life. You don't want to just, I mean, you could just live in the moment, but you want to do things that's going to keep that up. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So maintaining. So as you gain things, maintain as well. Right? But sustainability is one of the leading causes for people why you see them where they are today. Like, I'm sure you guys see a lot of people that's been doing whatever they've been doing for 20, 30 years and the reason why they're at there, because they have been able to maintain what they've been doing for 20, 30 years. They've had them a plan, a routine, or whatever the case is. So try to do things that's going to help you sustain where you're at. We have accept God, right? God is omnipotent. The symbol expresses the deep faith in the Attain have in the supreme being. I talk about this a lot on specifically a spiritual channel, because it's like, when it comes down to God and Jesus and things like that, this is a belief system we have, right? And a lot of people try to look for facts and scientific evidence and things like that, but it's like, there's no scientific evidence that you're going to make it in this world, right? But you still believe that you can. There's no, these same people that try to look for proof of like certain things to happen and whatever the case is. It's like, look, each to end, everybody has their own faith, their own religion, things like that. However, when it comes down to believing, I don't feel like it's appropriate for people to try to tell people what they should or shouldn't believe in. Now, it's one thing if somebody's trying to force a religion on your throat, and you could tell that person, you know what I'm saying, hey, you know, I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't do that, you can do you, I do me, you feel me? That's kind of different to going a defense mode versus an offense mode. Like, if you believe in something, somebody shouldn't come to you and tell you specifically you shouldn't believe in it. If you try to propose them to that person, you can't get mad if that person says that, hey, I don't, you feel me, I don't indulge in that. You do, you know? So what I'm trying to say throughout all of this is, when it comes down to God and having belief and having faith, however you guys, you know, feel about that is how you feel, you know? But believing means that it's the first stage to get in there. So if you hold faith to God, then you hold faith to you're gonna be in heaven. You have people that don't believe in it, then they don't expect to go places. So try not to overthink it too much, you know what I mean? But just kind of look at your destination. Say, okay, why you believe it? Why you believe in God? Why you believe in a supreme being? What's the purpose behind it? Like, what's the sole reason for you to believe in him? That's how I like to look at it like that. I believe there's a higher power because I wish, you know, I'm just wishful thinking. Like, there's a higher power, so I'm expecting me to be with that higher power when I pass over. Some people don't agree on it, but then again, there's some people have a different approach. They feel like they're just gonna die and go in the grass and things like that. So everybody has their own little opinion and stuff like that. No, I'm not gonna say no one's right or wrong. I'll just say believe who you believe in. But when you accept God or accept a higher power in your life, for me personally, I feel like that's very a positive approach, because it's like you're really thinking optimistic. You're thinking like, okay, when I pass away, I'm gonna have another lifetime and I'm gonna get to meet my maker and things like that. To me, that's very like high vibrational thinking, because it's like it's something positive within that. You know, it's like nobody likes, I'm giving an example, nobody likes when somebody steals. But because people associate stealing with bad energy, right? So if you're associating yourself with great energy of somebody that's creating human beings to be productive, and everybody, you know, kind of looks at, you have like the white and black, the angel, and the white and the black angel, whatever. Not like white and color, but in general, right? You have and they would say, they would associate a certain color or whatever. Not color, because like I said, it's the internet, so how people get. But they would associate a certain energy, forget the color, they would associate a certain energy with negative, like stealing, negative, giving, positive. So it's like, if you want to have a higher vibration and accepting a higher power and a higher source as positive, to me, that's high reaching, because it's like, okay, you're reaching real, in a good way, you're reaching real high, because it's like, if you're the type of person that believes that this is the good, that's the bad, most likely you're going to stir away from the bad and go towards the good. You're going to be a productive member of society. You're going to be doing your thing. You're not going to be bothering people. So to me, that's very positive. So I say go for it. If you truly believe that there's a heaven and things like that, accept God in your life, accept the higher power. And now with that comes with being willing to accept that you can do certain things if you want to accept him in your life. You can't steal. You can't, you know what I mean? Yeah, you're gonna tell white lies or whatever here and there, but try to shape that up. Try your best to not do it just carelessly. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna make mistakes, right? You're almost prone to make mistakes, but do your best to try to accept that you made a mistake and ask for forgiveness and move on from it. So that's my large theory with that. Let's see what else we have. Next we have a snake that is climbing over a fruit tree. Because of its thorns, the fruit tree is a dangerous challenge to the snake. Their ability to climb the tree is a model of persistence and prudence. Right? I don't know if this is referring to, as you guys know, about the snake in the Garden of Eve, I believe. But if we're talking about challenging moments as what I feel like, I said, I don't know if it's relating to that, but if we're speaking on challenging moments as far as the thorns being a challenge for the snake, or we could even change the animal, but it says snake. So moving through with prudence is like, no matter the challenges that you face, you're still gonna keep going. I mean, look, you guys can't really do much about challenges. It's just a part of the journey. I keep talking about this because it's like, negative things will happen. Well, not will, but negative things potentially can happen. So we just gotta kind of train our mentality to understand that, hey, listen, this is just a bump in the road. This is just a speed bump. You ever been through like a neighborhood? Slow down a little bit. Because it's probably kids or whatever in the neighborhood that go to school, so they put speed bumps down to slow you down. That's just just a slow down process. No matter what you guys going through and things like that, don't let that deteriorate, or not even deteriorate. Don't let that detour you, because you'll see a blockage in the road and want to go a different path, and that path is probably not your path. I mean, maybe if there's like a boulder or something in the road, maybe if it's like a big red flag to be like, oh, you ain't passing, or meaning everything is messing up, meaning there's a way better approach on this path, way better things, and the higher power is pretty much signaling you to not go down this path that you're going, then that makes sense. But if it's minor things, like you feel some way about somebody says something on your journey to success, you're trying to gain somewhere, somebody says something, somebody trying to prevent you to do something, and maybe the energy doesn't seem pure. Maybe the person has a history of snaking with people, has a history of BSing people, has a history of all of this. Then at that point, you kind of know, okay, just avoid that person. Just get out of the way and move on to a different person, right? It could be like, say you want to be a singer and you're trying to get a promotion deal with a club. This is just an example. Y'all can take it how you take it. Say you want to be a singer and you're trying to get a promotion deal, but the promoter of the club has bad reports and bad, history with other artists. Then at that point, it ain't you, it's them. So you just move around them and find a different club to go to, So it's like that. Basically, it's like that. But if the promoter, you go to them, they're acting weird. You go to the other promoter, they're acting weird. Then maybe that's not what you should be doing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's a reason why you need to just slow down. Maybe you need to go a different route. Maybe you want to do produce. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we just kind of go with the energies. Use your discernment. Meaning, if there's one acting weird, okay, it's just probably that road bump that you kind of got a detour, just that little blockage. But if there's a whole crew, an entire different situation, you probably got to do something else or go completely somewhere else. Just use your discernment. That's going to finish up the video for the Geminis. Please let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Hopefully I assisted, helped you guys with any of these messages. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys on the next video.